morning. Mara. Yeah. I think there's some players who think, yeah, there's probably some players playing, even some Canadian players, yeah, Ivan, you're a bit too harsh on the league, Ivan. You went a bit too far. I know. The CFL does deserve to be exposed. They've been doing this for 7 years. I guarantee the Canadian football players are on my side, obviously, because it is actually serious shit going on in Canada, in my fucking country, man. This has been going on for like 70 plus years of history, man. 70 years of CFL history. Even when Russ Jackson played in the 50s, the bias has been going on in the CFL. Yeah, that's why I'm the voice, obviously. All the Canadian players will, well, yeah, I mean, you're the voice. I'm like, yeah, I'm the voice, obviously. Because they can't speak up. If they speak up about it, they can lose their jobs. They're going to get fired. They can lose their jobs. Obviously, I'm the voice and the hope for the Canadian players. That's how serious it is, man. The American players who play up here, who become stars, know about the bias. Of course they do. They're not stupid. Of course they do. I guarantee you all the American players who come up here, who are CFL stars and everything, they probably have that thought, yeah, like, this is a Canadian football league. But yet, like, all these Canadian players who get drafted and everything, obviously, because some of the American CFL players, they obviously know about the draft. Some of the draft picks, maybe they don't really care about the CFL draft. Obviously, the American players, but when some players get drafted, the players who stay up here in Canada, they probably know about some of the draft picks, and they know, yeah, barely any of these draft picks are stars. It's all some American guys. The CFL just brings up here who are the stars. This has been going on for 7 years, man. For CFL history, the CFL's blind, obviously. They're just blinded by the American. Now, the fact that it's been going on for 7 years, they're obviously blind. Yeah, we don't care, man. We don't care about the Canadian players. They're not good enough. We don't like those guys. We have to lock the doors on those guys and bring these American guys and play now to be stars. Yeah, I get that CFL. They're very talented players, obviously, but like a lot of them are using your league as a farm to get a rifle shot, man. And you want to grow the league, and you wonder why the league's not growing, man. Very weird. Yeah. So as the league got rid of the American talent, all the American players playing in the CFL would be crushed, obviously, because they have nowhere else to play pro football, unless they want to play pro football in Europe or Japan, obviously. But that those leagues are not even close to as good as the CFL. Is number 2 after the NFL. It's almost as good as the NFL, the CFL. Not NFL level, but almost as good as the NFL. CFL is number 2 after the NFL. Yeah. The league would tell me, yeah, you're going to crush these American players if you get rid of the American talent. Yeah, but CFL, you've been locking off the doors on all your draft picks, Canadian draft picks for 7 years. So you obviously, yeah, we don't care about the Canadian guys either. You care more about, you care more about the players from America who are undrafted in the NFL to get to play pro football up here in Canada, be the stars up here over your own best name players of your draft picks. Yeah. So the CFL believes, we can't get the best talent in the States. So all the guys who were undrafted in the NFL, they deserve to shine up here over our best draft picks, obviously. That's what the CFL believes. That's how we grow the league. Yeah, they're not even the CFL's draft picks. They're just guys the CFL puts on a negotiation list and they just bring these guys up here. It's fucking weird, obviously. Yeah, they're not our draft picks, but they're talented. Yeah, but the CFL, they're not your draft picks, man. All these stars you're marketing on CFL and TSN panel are not draft picks. They're just guys you just bring up here from a different country, right? They're not your draft picks, right? Yeah. It's common sense. If you want to grow a pro league, you grow the pro league with your draft picks. If you don't grow it with players who are amazing players from a different country who are not draft picks, you don't the CFL's been doing that for decades, and you wonder why the league's not growing. CFL. These guys are maybe very talented. The fans kind of don't know anything. Guys are getting up here, right? You're marketing the people of Canada. The CFL relies blindly on their talent to grow the league. And yet, no one in Canada obviously cares that much. Or they just don't care about Canadian football. As a Canadian top might not make a difference. You can market 9 Canadian franchise quarterbacks. The CFL until sometime talks about this quarterback got drafted in the second, third, fourth round. This running back lineman got drafted, play at this college in Canada, and marketing universities. Maybe the people in Canada won't care. When there's the best players in Canada compete for the Grey Cup, maybe it won't make a difference, or it becomes huge in like 15 years. And the league is doing $500 million a year a season revenue, $600 million a season revenue, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I guarantee some of the American football players in CFL, like, yeah, you know, a bit more talented Canadian players. If they got rid of us and the thing became huge in like 15 years, like 500 million in revenue, man, they'll be crushed, obviously, because, like, yeah, the fans care about these Canadian guys a lot more than us. Yes, guys, because the CFL's for the Canadians. It's not for you. The CFL's not your league. The NFL's your league. You guys are only here because you didn't get an NFL shot. Even though you guys are amazing players, you really are. You put on a show on television, obviously. I'm surprised the league is not doing $500 in revenue, because the American guys CFL brings up here are very talented players. They put on a show on television, but, like, people kind of still don't care. So it's like, obviously, they don't really care about the American guys. I don't mean being asshole guys, it's just the truth, right? Or they just don't care about Canadian football. Yeah. Yeah. I get paid midnight tonight. Tomorrow midnight, right? Yeah. I mean, is the CFL draft popular? No, not really, no. Even though they air it on TSN, and everything, it's not that popular, man. Like, it's not like the NFL where, like, millions of people tune in. No. CFL draft's not like that. You'll be lucky to get maybe 100,000 people tuning into the draft. In Canada, maybe 80,000 people tuning into the draft. It's not that popular. I know why. Because the draft is a crapshoot, man. The Canadians can't take the league seriously. All these draft picks are not stars, man. It's just all these American guys that are up here. Like, there's your answer, man. That's why fans can't take the league seriously. CFL, it's a very weird way of growing the league, man. You just draft the best players, but you lock the doors on them, and you just bring up all these American guys having stars up here. We're not your draft picks. Yeah. Like, in the NFL, when this player becomes a star, they say this player was drafted in the second, third round. You know what I'm saying? He played at this SHL university, you know what I'm saying? And you can take the NFL seriously because all these American football players, their dream was playing in the NFL. And all the star players are draft picks who were drafted into the league. CFL is not like that. They just draft the best Canadian players. They lock the doors on them because they don't think they're good enough, obviously, and just bring up all these American guys. The American guys make the play, but when all these amazing American players in the CFL make plays, the CFL doesn't say they were drafted in the league. They don't say that. Yeah. Because the CFL is not for the American players. It's for the Canadian players. They're just guys the CFL just puts on a negotiation list. They just bring up here. They're not draft picks. And you market those guys to name people. The CFL teams somehow talks about them. They're stars. I mean, yeah, it's cool and everything, but, like, obviously people in Canada don't really care that much. They don't know anything about these guys. I'm shocked the league is not making more money. I really am, because the American players, the CFL up here, are amazing players. And all you American players on top of, yeah, I mean, the CFL is high. Yeah, it's high quality football guys, almost as good as the NFL. Yet people in Canada don't really care, which I'm shocked, obviously, because the entertainment value is amazing, obviously, but people in Canada obviously don't really care, obviously, right? Yeah. Like, what if it grows? If it grows to $500 in 20 years, I'll take everything back I said. Maybe the American talent is the way to go, and the undrafted players in the NFL, you know, they're not the best players in America. Don't hate me, guys. They're very, very talented players. Obviously, they deserve to shine up here and be the stars up here and become legends up here in Canada. They deserve it. I take everything back I said, but something tells me it's not gonna hit $500 in 20 years. CFL will be lucky to pull in 340 million in 20 years. They have minimal growth. They're growing. They have minimal growth, obviously, right? All CFL GMs and coaches, yeah, Ivan, you're wrong, man. If you get rid of the American talent, the quality will dip a little bit. But if all you CFL coaches and GMs, even though the quality dips a little bit, if the fans love these Canadian players, especially the quarterbacks, a lot. Russ Jackson's the proof where they have a trophy now, right? They love these Canadian star quarterbacks more than these American guys, and it becomes huge in 15 years, and your league's doing 500, 600 million revenue. It worked out for the good. All you CFL coaches can get your raises, and GMs can get your raises. You can raise the cap and pay these star Canadian players more money. Yeah, right. And if that happened, you're gonna crush. Yeah, I know all the American players who played in the CFL will be crushed because they'll finally hit their minds. Yeah, the fans love the Canadian players a lot more than us, obviously. Yes, guys, because you're American, you're not from here. This is not your league. Your league is the NFL, and they know your dream's not playing here. You're only here by default, guys. So yeah. Even the CFL legends are only CFL legends by default. Had they been in the NFL, they never would have been your legend CFL. So when you think about it that way, it's very weird, and it's tough to take your league seriously, obviously. All the CFL legends who played in the CFL, I know I'm being an asshole. They're legends in a league that they never dreamed of playing in. Like, no American football player growing up playing football in high school and also dreams about playing in the CFL. No, their dreams playing in the NFL. The CFL is not their dream; it's an afterthought. They just happened to be here because they didn't get their NFL shot. They happen to be legends here because they're here by default. The legends in the league that they never dreamed of playing, and so it's weird, obviously. I don't know how you Canadian football fans feel. For me personally, it's weird. It's a bit weird. But CFL's a guy, we don't care, man. Because they're blind by the very now. We don't care either, man. Like, they're talented, man. We gotta have these guys come here to be the stars, yeah. And the Canadian players are not good enough either. Not good enough, yeah. So the Board of Governors does let the CFL Commission know the Canadian players are not good enough. Of course they do. They ask, draft the best players in Canada. They're very talented, but they're not good enough for television. They're not good enough quality for people buying tickets. They're not good enough. They're not a good enough quality brand to sell to Canadian people. We got to bring up all these American guys, obviously, and have few of them be stars. Mainly Neil Lyman and a couple of receivers, right? That's how it works, and that's the cult right now. They lock the doors on the Canadian players, obviously, the CFL, right? They lock the doors on the Canadian players. Yeah. Why do the fans love the CFL stars? Yes, they do. The fans love all the CFL stars. They do. But they love the Canadian players more, obviously. Russ Jackson's proved they love the Canadian players more than the American guys. Because they know the CFL is not for the American players. They're only here by default. Their dreams playing in the NFL is not playing here. Canadian football fans are not stupid. They know that. Obviously, but they do love the CFL stars when they kill up here, obviously. Even I love the CFL stars. When they make plays, oh my, oh man, this receiver is amazing. But even though the receivers and D Lyman and all these guys are amazing players are putting on a show up here, I know their dream wasn't playing here, man. So it's tough for me to resonate with these guys, right? And some of them leave to the NFL after 3 seasons. The CFL GMs are pissed off. Yeah. CFL even offers players like deals, the best deal they can offer them, but they can't compete with the NFL. Yeah, we can't compete with the NFL, but the fans love you. You should stay here. Like, your chances of starting the NFL is high. You should stay here. And they're like, sorry. They tell the GM, sorry, my dream's not playing here. I loved it up here, but my dream's not playing. My dream's playing. Yeah, they're just playing the NFL, these American guys. But quite a lot of them do stay, though. Because they have to think about their families. They have families to feed and all that stuff. They have to, I have a family to feed. My chances of starting the NFL is on high. I'll just stay up here and end up staying up here. And I respect that, but Quite a bit of them use the CFL as a fireman to get an NFL shot. Obviously, and those are the people the CFL markets as the Canadian people. And you wonder why the league's not growing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I could be wrong. Maybe with the Canadian talent, the league flops. It even dips in revenue. I wonder what you Canadian players think. Do you guys think if the league got rid of the American talent and they market you guys Canadian people at the universities and everything, more known talent, right? And you was draft picks and everything, do you think the league would boost some revenue? Ivan, you could be right, but you could be wrong. Yeah, it could be wrong, guys, right? It might not make a difference. But the fact that all the university games at university football sell out, that's how you know there is a bigger market with the Canadian talent. You just have to market them well. Yeah. Yeah. Ivan, all the games, yeah, for university football is the most popular sport in Canada. I know hockey's Canada's sport, but in university football is number one. Football is more popular than even hockey and basketball in Canada. Football is the most popular sport. My older stepbrother even told me, yeah, yeah, the football players at the university are the most famous athletes in the school. And then second is like basketball, third is like hockey, and like fourth is like soccer. So the football athletes are the most famous athletes in the school. The fans love them more than all the other players playing the other sports in university football. But for pro sports, NHL's number one, obviously. He told me that. Oh, sorry, brother. Football players are the most famous players, the all football players are the most famous athletes in the school. We're more famous than all the the other players who play sports. They love the football players the most. The students. That's why all the games sell out at football games. Football is number one at university sports. They sell out every game, and the fans love their players playing CFL. And those are not the best players in Canada. It's good enough for the fans who watch the games. And those are not the best players in Canada. Only maybe two people, one or two people, three people per team are eligible for the CFL draft every year. CFL only takes like two, 3-star players per team out of all the 27 teams competing for the Cup and University, and they get drafted in the CFL. The rest of them don't make it, and a few of them are unsigned, undrafted free agents. The rest don't make it in the CFL. They don't make it to the pros, obviously. Yeah. That's how you know CFL is good enough for people in Canada. You're just too blind to see it, obviously. All the fans, all the Canadian players in CFL, yeah, even like when we played in university, it was sold out. The fans loved us, and it was entertaining enough for the fans at the school. But the CFL somehow thinks it's not entertaining enough for the people of Canada. Yeah, Ivan, it's not. The people paying for the tickets, Ivan, it's not good enough, Ivan. It's not good enough for people paying for the tickets for our games. It's not good enough for people tuning on television, Ivan. They're not good enough quality brand to sell to the Canadian people, Ivan. It's not good enough. Yeah. They downgrade Canadian talent. That's cool, I know. They downgrade Canadian talent. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's good enough quality, Ivan, because the Canadian players are a bit more raw in the way they play. They're very talented, but they're a bit more raw in the way they play. That's why they don't think it's Ivan. They're amazing players, but they're a bit more raw in the way they play. It's not, and then when they compare it to the NFL, it's a bit of a letdown. It's not on the NFL's level. That's why they're not satisfied with it. That's why they just choose to bring all these American guys from the States and have them be the stars up here. off their draft picks. Very weird. Oh, it's weird. I know. Yeah. Yeah, right. Maybe they do think the Canadian talent is good enough. No, man. The fact that they lock doors in Canadians is common sense. The reason why they lock doors in Canadians is they don't think they're good enough to put on good quality football for the people of Canada. That's why they lock the doors. They close doors on the Canadian players, obviously. Yeah. I mean, that's cold shit. Yeah, it's serious shit, man. Going on in my fucking country, man, for like 7 years, right? Yeah. When I started watching the CFL in the late '90s, I didn't know about the bias. I didn't know how it worked and everything, but I always wondered, yeah, it's a CFL, Canadian Football League. Why are all these star players all these American guys? And as I grew older and I watched the CFL and I studied the league, and I found out about okay, they draft the best Canadian players. All these players are drafted, and I always realized, yeah, barely any of these guys are stars. There's all these American guys he brings up here. There's obviously a bias going on in the league, and all the doors are locked. Yeah, they close the doors on the Canadian players. Yeah, we have to do that, man. They're not good enough, Ivan. The Canadian players we draft, you know, the best players in the country who ever played the game. They're not good enough for the people in Canada, Ivan. You got to bring up all these American guys who are undrafted from the NFL, right? Yeah. So the CFL's not for the American players. The NFL's for the is for the American is for the best American players. The CFL's for the Canadian players. That's why the CFL drafts the best Canadian players in the league. But because of they're not satisfied with the talent, they're blind by the American talent. They just choose to bring these American guys up here. Yeah, we have to do that, Ivan. They're not the Canadian players. Not talent. They're not good enough, Ivan. I'm sorry. The board guys will tell me, yeah, Ivan. I understand. I don't mean to disrespect the Canadian players. We don't like those guys, Ivan. They're not good enough. We can't have them be the stars in our league. The quality will dip a little bit. It's not good enough quality. No, it's good enough quality to see CFL. When you compare it to the NFL, yeah, I mean it's a significant different quality. It's not the NFL level. Yes, I know CFL, but if it's good enough for people in Canada and your league grows, it worked out for the good. We can't take that risk, man. I think the league revenue will dip. The quality is not as good. We can't do that. Yeah, that's why they're never gonna. Yeah, we can't. They're never gonna do that. Obviously, not gonna happen. Yeah. I mean, that's funny. I know. I could be wrong. Maybe the American talent is. I highly doubt, though. Man, they've been doing this for 70 years. Steve was only peaking at 300 million a season revenue. So obviously, the American talent isn't the way to go. And it's not about the quality of the game. Because CFL is putting on high quality football with these American players they bring up here. They put on a show on television, and they market these guys as Canadian people, and no one in Canada cares that much. Some people in Canada care as they get like 500,000 views and all that stuff, but like obviously the rest of Canada don't really care about your games, regardless. Yeah, you're putting on high quality football, and people in Canada don't care about your CFL game, CFL. Yeah. Yeah. CFL should be averaging at least 1 million people tuning in a game. Obviously, 1,500,000 people tuning in a game, and they should be peaking at 2.5 million people watching. CFL's trying to get to that. That way they can get that bigger TSN deal. But TSN's not going to give the CFL more money until the ratings go up. Yeah, the ratings have to go up for us to give you more money, but TSN's not giving CFL any more money because they're not producing on their television service. The ratings are stagnant, right? They're not increasing, obviously. Yeah. obviously. We're not producing, obviously, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right, does something tell you it is a Canadian talent? Yes. Something tells me if they market like nine, especially quarterbacks, nine franchise Canadian quarterbacks, and the CFL and TSN talks about these players who got drafted from like NCAA, or because there are some Canadian players who do play in the NCAA too, and there's players who play university in Canada. Yeah, this quarterback got drafted from this university, obviously. And yeah, and I'll tell the league. I recommend you do documentaries about when they like when they make the Great Cup. They interview the quarterbacks and they talk about like, yeah, my dream was playing the CFL, playing football. I played at this Canadian high school. Like you can resonate with the Canadian players because their dream is actually playing here. They're not using the CFL to get NFL shot because the NFL is not for the Canadian players; it's for the American players. But for the American players here who's up here, it's not like that. They always have to like they don't want to disrespect the CFL. The American star players. When you do documentaries about them. For the Canadian players, that's how you grow the league CFL. You do documentaries about the quarterbacks before the Great Cup, and they talk about how their dream was playing in the CFL, and they want to be a star player up here, and that quarterback brought his team to the Great Cup. You know what I'm saying? That's how your league becomes huge in 15, 20 years. Ivan, we don't believe that's true. They're not good enough quality for some people in Canada. We can't do that. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. That's what they bring up the American guys, obviously. Yeah. All the role players, I did not make sense. That's why all you majority of you drop picks are not stars, man. You're not good enough quality, obviously. You're not a good enough brand to sell to the Canadian people. That's why the CFL doesn't locks of doors on you guys because you're not good enough, obviously. They don't think you're good enough. And that's funny, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Why does the CFL do their very best to market the Americans abroad? Oh yeah, they do. They have them speak at schools, they do community work. Yeah, they have their star players speak at schools, community work, all that stuff, obviously they do that. Obviously. And the fans love them and everything, they really do, but like they don't know anything about these guys, right? Like maybe CFL stars, but they don't know anything about these guys. They're from a different country, right? That's my point. Obviously. Yeah, it's all these American star players who get the spotlight. There's barely any Canadian star players who get the spotlight. Some of them who are stars, the star Canadian players obviously speak at schools too, and universities and everything too. But there's barely any Canadian star players. It's all these American, except for the alignment. The alignment is a non-skill position, right? Alignment is a non-skill position. Oh, that's funny. I know. Yeah. Yeah. I could be wrong, guys. Maybe all you American role players playing CFL, I know I'm an asshole. Yeah, you're a dick. I know I'm a dick. I'm an asshole. Maybe the American talent is the way to go. The Canadian players are just not good enough to put on good quality we can. That's why the CFL does this, obviously. Yeah. I guarantee there are some Canadian football fans. Yeah, Ivan, I think you're wrong. The reason why the CFL does this, Ivan, the Canadian players are not good enough, Ivan. They're not good enough to put on good quality football when people can, Ivan. That's why the CFL does this, Ivan. They're not good enough, Ivan. Yeah, some people disagree. Yeah, they're not good enough, Ivan. That's probably why. That's why CFL does that. Canadian players are just not good enough, Ivan. To put on good quality football people can. They're not. Yeah, they're not good enough, obviously. That's why barely them are stars. The league closes doors on them, obviously. That's cool, I know. But I hope the league grows. Anyways, not about that. Yeah. Yeah. What are the chances you start in the SHL? Not high. Most likely I'm going to be moves out of BJ. Yeah. And I might start the league perhaps. You never know, right? And that's where all the Angel acts are going to be crushed. Yeah. Ovechkin and McDavid, yeah, man, if you do that, man, you're gonna crush us on Angel Hockey's Ivan. Like, you're gonna really, really crush us. Yeah, you're gonna crush those guys. I'm gonna hurt them all. Yeah, you're gonna hurt us, Ivan, man. We missed on all that fun and all that money. Like, I'd rather be a legend in your league and make all that money and be world famous than be a legend in the Gatekeepers fucking NHL, Ivan. I'd rather be a legend in your league in the SHL Hockey Hall of Fame than the fucking NHL Hockey Hall of Fame, Ivan. Yeah, they missed on all that fun, man. Obviously. And all that money and fame and buzz and hype. Yeah, we missed out on all that fun, Ivan. Yeah, they're gonna crush the NHL athletes, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not kidding around, man. You do that, you're gonna crush us, Ivan. Like, we're gonna be crushed. Obviously. Heartbroken, oh yeah, crushed and heartbroken. Obviously, gonna feel like shit, those guys. And the newer generation are the lucky. All the upcoming new hockey players are lucky, and all the players, their dream will all be playing in the SHL. No longer the NHL is their dream. Their dream is the SHL now, because the SHL is better than the NHL, right? I can pay the players more too. Yeah, my dream is playing pro hockey in the SHL with Ivan. That's my dream, playing hockey in Ivan's league with Ivan. Obviously, that's the dream. Obviously, yeah. Yeah, be crushed. Yo, Ivan, how many teams do you want to have in your league? 25 teams. Yeah. 25 teams in my league. Yeah. 13 teams in Canada, 12 teams in the States. Yeah. Yeah. And you want, the cap, $200 million per team. And don't pay a star player any more than $32 million. Unless they're generational talent. But generational talent's rare. Like, they're only like 2-3 guys who comp every 8-15 years. Those are generational guys. Don't pay the players any more than $32 million. That's enough, guys. And when I raise the cap, I'll raise the amount to like 34, 35 million. I'll raise it a little bit, but $32 million is enough money for the star players in my league. Yeah. And with their league revenue magazine deal, they're pulling in their like $48, $50 million a season. Obviously, that's good enough. Yeah, even the players we have that they're not worth. Yeah, they're not worth any more than $50 million, guys. I'm not gonna pay them $40 million. That's too much. It ripped me off. But I'll give them league revenue to keep them happy. Obviously, because you can't afford to pay two players $40 million on a team. You're gonna drain the cap. But you could afford to pay two players $30 million. That's only $60 million on your cap, which a lot of the GMs will pay the players at. Obviously, like two-star players will demand $30 million. The GMs will gladly pay the two-star players $30 million for 2 seasons. But after 2 seasons, you have to bring it down. They get $30 million for 2 seasons, and you bring it down to like 27 million, 26 million, 27 million for 2 seasons. Or even 3 seasons, you can pay them 27 million to keep them happy. They would make more money. And after that, you bring it down to 21, 22 million. They get 22 million for 2 seasons. In their final 2 seasons, they get like their $18 million a season. With their league revenue, they sign like a 300 plus million deal. Those guys, a lot of money for the athletes. But there are some star players who might get 20 million, 25 million because the GMs just can't afford to pay them more money. Obviously, which is still good. Obviously. All right, how much will star players be making in the league on average? Probably that 20, 25, $30 million, $27 million. 25 million plus, most of the star players at least should be making in my league. And there's quite a few that will make a bit less, maybe 20, 19, 18 million, because the GMs will have enough cap space to pay them more money. Especially if there's like 4-star players in your team, chances are 2 guys might make 30 and then 1 guy makes like 20, 21, 22 because the GM doesn't have enough cap space to pay the player that. But GM can even afford to pay 3-star players $30 million. You see, he still has 110 million in cap space. That's enough money to pay the other players good money, but the good players won't peak any higher than maybe like 13 million. Some good players want 14, 15 million. That's why the GM might pay the player maybe 22 million. That way they have more cap space to pay the good players with more money. Some of the good players with more money, obviously. For $14 million a season, good players want to get paid too. It's not just about the star players. Good players have to get paid too. Yeah. 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 So I have no endorsements. Yeah, there is no endorsement deals in my league. I had to sell to the gates. But to keep the players happy, you give the star players league revenue. Because all the star players in the NHL have endorsement deals, right? Yeah, but the NHL, they get like $4, $5, $6 million endorsement deals. I'm paying them more money for league revenue on average, right? 5 to 14 million league revenue. Obviously. So you don't peak any higher than 14 million for league revenue. Only the generational talent are worth for 50 to $20 million. The other guys are not worth that. I'm not going to pay a player 20 million league revenue if they're not generational talent. $14 million is enough for league revenue. That's more money than what they make for the endorsement deals. They get their mega salary and they get their league revenue at the end of every season. So during the season they get their check. At the end of the season they get their league revenue, obviously. That's how it works. Pay them the league revenue at the end of each season. It's better that way. It's kind of like a bonus, right? They got like their 30 million, 27, 25, $20 million check, $50 million check. 20 $20 million check, and at the end of the season they get their 14 million, or 12 million, or 10 million of league revenue. And chances are the GMs will pay all the star players the high end. They're going to pay the star players all like 14 million, 13, 14, 12 million league revenue to keep them happy. They get paid more money. You can pay them however much money you want for league revenue, but don't peak any higher than $14 million, guys. And after a couple of years, you got to bring it down. After maybe 2-3 years, you have to bring down the league revenue. That way these athletes don't do. You have to bring it down. They take pay. You have to bring down the league revenue. That way you don't overpay them and they don't do me. Yeah. And they get their magazine money. I don't know, $2.5, $3 million in magazine money. That's good enough for the players, right? Yeah. And they get the perks. Yeah. Luxury locker room, place where they practice, state-of-the-art gym. And when they travel, they fly on a chartered flight, nice fucking jet, to their away games, and they get their per dimes, obviously. $130 every day players get. That's good enough for the per dimes, right? All pro sports, the athletes get per dimes. When they travel to games, they get like their $100, like $30 per dime they get, the athletes. That's what they get, obviously, right? The athletes, right? Yeah. And sometimes the dinner's on me. I'll pay for the players, obviously. Yeah, guys, your $130 that you got, hold on to that. Dinner's on me. I'll pay for everything. It'll cost me, like, I don't know, $2,000. I'm a fucking billionaire. It's pocket change, right? I will be paying for the players' dinner sometimes. The players on my team, I'm like, yeah, it's on me. I'll pay for the dinner. We'll go to the bar. Beer's on me. All rounds on me. I'll pay for everything because I'm way richer now. Even though these guys are rich, are not as rich as me, right? I'm way richer than all these guys. I'm getting like my $5 billion check every 2 weeks from the league, right? The league will be paying me like $5 billion every 2 weeks. Yeah. Ivan, how do you want to get paid? Okay, all the money coming in from all 25 teams goes to me every 2 weeks. But I want you to calculate $15 billion of the league revenue. You have to hold on to the cash. That money you put back into the league. And the league revenue owed to all the players and the presidents and you, the board of governors, you guys have to calculate that. And at the end of the season, you guys get your league revenue. And the rest of the league revenue goes to Ivan O'Mara. That's how it works. I paid the bills. So, all that dough coming in from all the teams, 25 teams, the people, you know what I'm saying, they calculate and they divide it over the 8-9 month season. I get like my $5 billion check every 2 weeks, right? Something crazy. Yeah. But I have to be a star player, right? I have to be a star player, obviously. Yeah. There's nothing worse than me making all that dough, but I'm not a star player, right? I need to be a star player. Yeah, Ivan's making all that dough, but he's a star franchise player with the other star players in the league. And the star players in the league might be pissed off. Yeah, it's not fair, man. You're making more money. Yeah, guys, I'm making more money, you man, but you're getting paid, man. You're getting fatter checks than you do in the NHL, right? Yeah. Make your $32 million. Obviously, a season. You $32 million after taxes is about what? That's about like 20 million or something like that. $20 million after taxes, 32 million. So the players are getting a $20 million check after taxes and their agents 5%. Those are fat fucking checks. Yeah, they're fat checks, but it's not, I know, it's not the money I'm making, guys, but you're getting paid, man. You don't make this in the NHL. NHL don't make this, right? Getting paid. I don't know. I know I'm greedy, guys. I'm generous. I'm making sure I'm getting paid, man. I'm a generous man. I'm giving all you star athletes league revenue. No pro league gives the players league revenue because the players are not worth it, obviously. Pro sport leagues. Yeah. I'm giving the players league revenue to keep the players happy. They deserve it. Like the star players in my league deserve the league revenue because they're the franchise star players of a team. So they deserve a little piece of league revenue. If you want like 50-minute league revenue, guys, you're not worth that. No, you get like your 10, 12, 13, 14-minute league revenue, excluding your already rich salary you're already making, right? More than what most pro athletes make for their salary. Obviously, playing in a pro league, obviously, that's enough money for the players. But the good players and average players don't get shit. They're not worth it. They're not worth that, obviously. They just get their salary. That's it. And you guys have speaking, they get speaking money too. As the players will be doing community work and they'll be speaking. When they speak and everything, the players get paid for that too. When they speak at schools and everything, the athletes, they get paid, the players. Hockey camps, all that stuff, and they go speaking and everything, they get paid. The players, they get paid. So they have other side money too they're making, obviously, the players, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. But VJ support, yeah, VJ would support me. And she's like, baby, I'll support you if you want to be a pro hockey athlete. But she'll be like, Ivan, you're crazy. You'd rather be a pro hockey athlete than be a movie star? With me, I'm like, no, VJ, I'd rather be a movie star with you. Obviously. I'm most likely a movie star guy. I'd rather be a movie star than be a pro athlete. Being a pro athlete is cool, obviously, right? Yeah. And right, you always talk about the SHL. Yeah, guys, because I've been talking about Sky Source for like what? The past like 7 years. Yeah, I made like thousands of Sky Source videos, guys. I think it's time I switch it up, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. So City Gross and comedy are gonna be crushed. Yeah, man, I'm not like Ivan. Like you're a fucking dick, man. If you do that, man, you're gonna hurt me. You're gonna crush me, Ivan. I miss out. I'd rather play early than the fucking games in the NHL. Yeah, I know. I would have loved to play hockey with those guys. You know what I'm saying? All those NHL athletes, like Subban, all those guys. That's fucking cool, right? Yeah, I mean, that's glory. Yeah, man. Like I would love to play hockey with you, Ivan, and be part of that glory with you, Ivan. Assuming I'm a star player or I flop, right? I'd love to play hockey with you, Ivan. Yeah, that's why they're gonna be crush those guys. Because they'll finally hit their mind. Yeah, my dream growing up was playing the NHL, and Ivan was born into this world with VJ, but we locked the doors on him, and now he's king, and he started a league better than the NHL. And all these upcoming hockey players, their dream is no longer playing the NHL. Their dream is all playing in the SHL. Oh, that's their dream. Obviously, just like when I saw Sky's Entertainment, all the Hollywood actors' dream now is being in it, working for Sky's, was being in an IVG movie. That's their dream. They don't care about Hollywood anymore. The Hollywood Ivan's now king and he started from Zero Bear in Hollywood. That's insane. As I explained many times in my recent videos. Yeah. We have a similar situation for the Pro Hockey League, right? That's why the SHL is going to be crushed because they're too late. They're born. They're born. It's too late for those guys. They're born in a different generation. Yeah, we're born in a different generation. Yeah, we shined in pro sports and hockey, but we shine in the NHL. SHL is better than the NHL. It blows the NHL the water. NHL is now a puny small league compared to my league. It's only peaking at 7 billion revenue, big league, but my league is doing like 100+ billion in revenue. It blows the NHL away. That's why all the pro sport leagues are going to go into a panic. NFL, NBA, NHL, they're going to go into a panic. Obviously, all the pro sports. They're going to go into a panic, obviously, right? They can't compete with my league. Even the NFL, yeah, they're going to panic. They can't compete with my hockey league. NFL is now a puny small league compared to my league, and that's it. NFL's a huge league, man. Biggest pro sport league in North America, right? NFL averages 20 billion in revenue a season. 21, 22 billion a season in revenue. Something crazy. Yeah, but it's a puny small league compared to my league, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously. Do you want financial advisors for the draft picks? Yes, you can. When the players get drafted and they sign their deal, you can have financial advisors for the for the draft picks when they start out their career. They advise them what to do with their money. They might I recommend if you want to have the athletes have a bit of money, have a lot of draft picks rent out apartments. Yeah, I recommend you rent out a 3,000, 4,000 high-end apartment instead of buying if you're only making $2.5, $3 million a year, you can afford to buy a house, but maybe a $1 million house. But if you want to get a better house, you have to wait until you get your big deal. So there's stuff you can do to save your money. Okay, you can have the athletes advise the athletes to rent out an apartment for yourself instead of purchasing a house. If you're like a first round, second, third round draft pick. You're making $2.5, $3 million. You recommend them they rent out an apartment for until their contract's up. And when they break out into the league as star players and they now sign their mega 10-year deal, now they can get out of the apartment and they have enough money to buy their 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 million house. Got some Sarah? You can do that obviously for the players. Yeah. Ivan, what you want the peak to be for the draft picks? Don't pay the draft picks any more than 3.5 million. That's good enough. Yeah. First round draft picks can make the high end 3.5. Second round, third round draft picks can make maybe their 3 million. First round draft picks you can pay them 3 million, 3.5 million. And the later round guys can get their 2 to 2.5 billion, 2.7 billion. And the really, really late round guys get league minimum to maybe $1.5 million, 750,000 $1 million, 750,000, $1 million, 1,500,000. Those guys get 1,700,000. It's still good, man. They can pay the bills that money. Obviously, yeah. Ivan, that's smart. That way they don't. Yeah, that way they don't drain their money. Have financial advisors recommend to all the draft picks who are drafting into the league to rent out apartments for like their 3 years instead of buying a house. That way they save more of their money. Because apartments are cheaper. Like a high-end apartment, it will only cost you like $2,000, $3,000 a month, so they can easily afford to pay for that. Obviously, it's pocket change. Obviously, then once they get their bigger deals, now they can buy a house. Does that make sense? Yeah. Even the average players and good players can buy a house. Because average players will still be making like $4 million in my league. Once they make more money, 4 million, 5 million, they can buy like a $1 million house. You guys can say that's how they save money and they can buy a house for themselves. And the good players, and especially star players, can get better. They can buy a nice house. Obviously, that's how it works. You're smart enough. I got my shit. Obviously. Whereas man, you know your shit, man. You know about pro sports. Yes, guys, I do. I know my shit about pro sports. Yeah. So you want the players to have financial advisors. Yeah, I recommend all the draft picks get financial advisors. You can do that to guide them with their money, because you don't want players to be stupid and they just blow all their money and they retire and they go broke after 5 years, right? You have to be smart with your money. Invest your money, obviously. Yeah. Like the advisor can tell all the draft picks, yeah, I recommend you guys don't buy a house. Just rent out an apartment. You're gonna save more money. It's much cheaper. To rent out a $3,000 a month apartment, you're only spending what, $36,000 a year. So you save money. You can get a nice car, but rent out an apartment. That way you can save more money. Then once you get your bigger deal, now you can buy a house, obviously. And the financial advisor will probably tell some of the star athletes to invest their money. And make some investments, obviously real estate, or maybe owning a restaurant, stocks, cryptocurrency, that kind of stuff, right? The star players don't have to invest their money. They're making more than money. They're just smart with their money and they save their money. They don't have to invest their money, but it doesn't hurt to put some money, make some investments, obviously. That way you have extra money coming in after you retire. I mean, they don't have to invest their money, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. So the press conferences are crazy. Yeah, they interview me and the star players, and then you see all the photographers taking all these pictures, and they interview me, and it's crazy. I'm putting on the show, and how does it feel losing the game? Yeah, the loss was tough, and we weren't able to pull it off and get that win. Yeah, the interview me, it's crazy. Yeah, that's why I always say, yeah, you're gonna crush us, man. Miss on all that buzz, hype, and fun, Ivan. Yeah, that shot's gonna be crushed, obviously. Yeah, man, gonna be crushed. Yeah, But it's too late for those guys, right? Yeah, I mean, it's too late. It's too late for those guys. All the NHL players playing in the NHL is too late for those guys, right? Because I'm probably going to be king in maybe 10, 15 years. Even if I'm king in 10 years, it'll take probably 5 years, 6 years to start the league. That's 16 years. All these NHL athletes are too old, man. They'll all be retired. It's too late for those guys. That's why, yeah, if you're going to crush us, man, we'd rather be legends in your league than the fucking gatekeepers in the NHL. I know. SHL's better than the NHL. Yeah. I want to build a beautiful hockey Hall of Fame hall for my what? Beautiful hockey Hall of Fame hall for my what? For my league. Yeah. Yeah. After 10, 12, 15 years, you have the first hockey players inducted into my SHL Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? And after like 50 years, you have a bunch of players in the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's crazy. Yeah. That's why the NHL, yeah, you're going to crush us. They can't be legends. Like, it's too late for these players, right? They're all like pushing retirement halfway into their careers. It's too late for all these NHL athletes. That's why they're going to be crushed. Yeah. Obviously. That's why I should go the edge of the water. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my CFL video, my CFL show. And I hope you guys enjoy my SHL shows. I'm saying peace. Peace out, guys. Don't hate him, son.